I think that there's a common misconception amongst copywriters that choosing a niche is somewhat restrictive. When you first start out in your writing career, the general advice is to cast your net far and wide and see what types of copy sticks for you. Personally, it wasn't until I started to specialise that my business started to take off. Now, in saying that, it is important to be adaptable, especially in 2025, when marketing and the copywriting industry in general is going through a period of evolution. Hi, I'm Jamie from Brand New Copy, and in this video I want to talk about how to find your niche as a copywriter. Now, the reason I recommend copywriters find a niche is that over time, being a generalist freelance copywriter can become quite tiring. Every time you start a new project, you need to research a new industry, you need to get to grips with a whole new set of terminology, and over the long term that can become quite overwhelming. However, as a specialist, you can command a higher fee because you have expertise in that specific industry. Now, it's also easier for clients to find you if you are known for writing in a certain niche, rather than trying to appeal to everybody as a general copywriter. You can concentrate your marketing efforts to a very specific demographic of people who are looking for the industry that you write for. Now, I generally recommend that there's a 4-step process for finding your copywriting niche. And the first step is to look at your interests. So say, for example, you enjoy writing for the travel industry. That could be an indication that it's a niche that you'd want to double down on. The second step is to look back at your previous projects. Now, you might start to notice a pattern whereby the last 3 projects that you've worked on, you've been asked to write social media copy, for example. Now, that could be an indication that there's potential for you to start marketing yourself as a specialist in social media copy, because you already have experience and it gives you a head start. The third step is to go where there's demand. Now, it's all very well having an interest in writing for a certain industry or on a certain topic, but unless there is demand for it, unless there's demand for copywriting in that area, then you will probably struggle to find enough work to keep you going in that niche. And finally, the 4th step I always recommend is to visualize your ideal client. What do they look like in terms of the relationship that you will have with them? What is the workflow? What industry does that client represent, and what is their position in that industry? Once you have an idea of what your ideal client looks like, you can start to reverse engineer it a little bit, and it can give you like a clearer plan on what specialisms might be well suited to you. Now, one question that I'm always asked about niches is, what are the best niches for copywriting? And my answer to that is, the best copywriting niche is the niche that suits you the best. Now, if you are lucky enough to find a specialism in an industry that you enjoy writing for, then that should be the niche that you choose, because you'll get more satisfaction from it in the long term. However, in terms of the niches that are the most profitable, I would say finance, technology, and medical industries are all industries where copywriters can command a high fee, simply because there's a lot of money in these industries, and the people who are employed in these sectors generally have fairly high salaries, which gives you an indication of market demand for marketing and copywriting in those areas. Now, that's not to say that you can't have more than one niche. Now, you might start as a financial copywriter, but over time you might start developing an interest in writing for the technology sector. So bear in mind that your niches can change over time. Don't feel that you're restricted only having one particular niche. So, to wrap up this video on choosing a copywriting niche, I just wanted to add a couple of extra points. The first one being that there's no need to rush when it comes to deciding on a specialism. If you're just starting out, by all means cast your net far and wide, but keep in the back of your mind that at some point you will probably want to be known as a copywriter who specialises in writing for a certain industry or specialises in providing a certain type of copy. And don't feel that having a niche is in any way restrictive, because as your career progresses and as your interests change, your niches can change as well. Now, if you found this video useful, then please hit the like button and subscribe. I also wanted to mention that I have a copywriting course called the Brand New Copywriting Course, and it teaches you how to write commercially focused copy that clients actually pay for. It's well suited to people who are considering copywriting as a career and want a starting point. It's also useful for copywriters who are early on in their career and want to learn more about the strategic thinking that goes into copywriting. And equally, it would be useful for in-house marketers who want to add copywriting to their skill set. Thanks very much for your time, and I will speak to you soon.